Right, a little bit of oil just on the shaft of each one before putting it in. Does that sound rude? Fire, make fire. Bonjour and welcome back to the channel and to what is a rather delicious day here in Bourgogne, France. I need to jump in the Golf. I need to go and pick up some parts. I found something new about this car the other day, and a lot of you are going to probably shame me in the comments for this, but yeah, I hadn't realised that the accelerator, when you think it's actually pressed all the way down, if you push it hard again, it actually kind of clicks in like a little switch. And when you click that switch, well, this happens. Whoa! It just fires, it just goes, all right, I know I'm going. And if you've got a Mark 7 Golf and you didn't know that, then you're welcome. First stop, Mercedes garage. This is normally not a fun experience and normally quite costly. More parts and screws for the CLS, 70 euros. Great. And I thought the Mark II GTI smoked. Look at that thing. Bellowing out. Speaking of the Mark II GTI, we're going to the parts shop now because I dropped the injectors off last week to be fully refurbed. So hopefully he's going to come back with good news that they're all working properly. That way, when we put them back in and rebuild the engine, I know 100% they are good. Well, he said when I first dropped them off, he said, come back tomorrow. I came back 4 days later and yeah, they're not ready. Welcome to France. What the fuck, France? Oh, I can see a boulangerie. Hang on. Stop! France, you've redeemed yourself. Is the boot going to work today? Yes. Okay, so I suppose good news. More parts, screws and bolts for the... I still haven't got a name for this car. Shame about the injectors, but let's face it, I have got a lot of work to do before I will be reinstalling or putting those injectors back in anyway. So let's get set up and see what else we can take apart on this engine. Boom! Okay, time then today just then to keep dismantling. First of all, I'd like to remove the camshaft. That way we need to get access obviously to the back of the valves, which are... I'm waiting for my neighbour Elvie to come back from work because he's apparently got a special tool to help me with this, and he's done this before and I haven't. So let's remove these bolts, remove the camshaft and go from there. Okay, so there we have it. Massive thank you to Elvie. He had to shoot off. And let me just explain where we're up to. Obviously, the camshaft is removed. I'm not quite sure what you call these in English, and I've already forgotten what Elvie called them. But those things, numbered. And yeah, Elvie has removed one of the valves for me, valve number 1, with this special tool. So hopefully now, kind of monkey see, monkey do, hopefully now I can replicate that and start removing the rest. Let's have a go. So here is the tool, and here's the valve as it would sit in the engine. And all it is, it's just a tool that sort of clamps down. And if you imagine, it's going to compress the spring enough to be able to remove this little collar here. Voila, and then, poof, and then the valve can drop out the bottom. We've got another 7 to go. Let's get cracking. And voila, all the valves are out. That was actually, that was easy. I think the right tool makes all the difference. But yeah, that was straightforward. I've numbered them all, making sure they're obviously all going to go back into the same place. So then the next step is to pull out the valve stem seals. Now, I've been warned that this is quite a tricky job, hence why I purchased myself this bad boy. LV didn't actually have one of these. He's going to be jealous. Pincers with little ridges on, so you should be able to... Let's give it a go, try and yank one out and see if they just pop out. There we go. Well, okay then, all the old valve stem seals are out. And I have to say that was made way easy because of having this tool. I did have a go at trying to get one out without the tool, with just some normal pliers, and I just sort of tore it apart and it still wouldn't come out. So invest in one of these. I also just removed the little circular base plate for the valve springs. They're all out. Give them a quick wipe down. They can go back in the box. So I think now we can obviously start the cleaning process. So I did ask Alvy how's best to clean this cylinder head, and he kind of gave me a few suggestions, and the last one was, well, you can also just perhaps just blitz it with the old pressure washer. And does that sound like the funnest and easiest way to do it? Like I say, let me know in the comments if you've got any brighter ideas. So let's blitz it. Okay, well, there we go. It seemed to have the desired effect. It also had the desired effect of completely soaking me at the same time now. It's looking good, much better. I'll say I'm pleased with how it turned out. And it's completely dry. We're looking good. Time now then to clean the valves. Okay, so this involves, hang on, let's start with valve number 1. Definitely one of the more grotty valves. Right, wang it in the drill. Like so. Grab your cleany, abrasive spongy cloth and go to town. Yeah man, definitely has the desired effect. Now for that super slick finish, I've just got a bit of 800 grit, wet sandpaper, dippity dippy in the water. Well, that's one down, 8 to go then. I'll see you in a bit. Okay then, hot work this cleaning engine stuff. Right, valves are nice and clean, although I did notice some markings on them, which obviously they've been cleaned before, and I don't know how, but yeah, they'd left markings on them. But anyway, they're clean. I've tried polishing them out as best I can, but like I say, that's how they're gonna stay. So now then, we can start thinking about putting things back together, which is really cool. Right, I've got a new toy. Wingardium Leviosa. Right, so you've got two. This is a sort of I guess kind of like a really heavy polishing paste that basically grinds in the cylinder heads, and you're basically trying to marry the valves and marry the surfaces to get that perfect fitment. And you start off with the heavy grind, the coarse grade as it's noted here, followed by a fine grade. That way you can sort of really get the valves to be seated perfectly. Right, let's give this a go then. Now I do believe doing this by hand is the best way. Here we go. Right, need to put a bit of oil in my can. Apparently you don't want to do this dry. Need a bit of lube. Okay, let's start off with coarse then. Really is like sandy paste. Hit around there. Let's get to town. I feel like I'm starting a campfire. Now for the fine grade. Right. And again. fire, make fire. Yes, number 8, done. Phew. Okay, valves are all grinded and seating nicely, brilliant. Time to, let's flip it over and start rebuilding. Okay, so let's start with the valve stem seals, because that's kind of why we did this whole process in the first place, because if you imagine this seal, so the valve's going in and out, and it creates a nice tight seal there, and that's so oil can't get past, because if oil gets past, then oil gets into the cylinder, and it gets, obviously oil is then burning, and that's when you get your cloud of smoke. So by replacing all the seals and knowing they're doing their job properly, hopefully we should eliminate that problem. So let's put the new seals back in. Now before we do that, we need to put the little spring backing plates back in. So I'm going to give them all a quick clean up, wang them in, and off we go. Last one. Cool. Valve stem seal then. Okay, so this is the tactic I'm going for. I've just basically got a socket set, which is this one is an 11mm, and it kind of fits perfectly just over the valve seal itself. Perfect. And then just poke it on, get it nicely lined up, and on it goes. Simple. Next. Okay, so they're all in. That was easy enough. Time, I'm just going to flip it over. Start putting the valves back in. Right, a little bit of oil just on the shaft of each one before putting it in. Does that sound rude? A little bit of oil on the valve stem before entering. Nope. A little bit of oil on them and then wang them on. Wang them in. Let's go. Yeah, nice and clean. Looking good. Okay then, so for the reassembly, we're kind of doing this just in reverse order basically. So we basically just need to grab the springs and I guess the spring hat, I don't know what you call it. Then using Elvy's gadget again, just compressing it all back down to refit the collar. Wind it down, fit the two little collars. Oh, this is perhaps a bit more tricky. Well, getting the collars back on is way more difficult than getting them off. But a bit of jiggery pokery with the old screwdriver, and I think we're good. So let's wind it back up. Aha! There we go then, first valve is installed. Right, let's have this choice experienced 7 more times and do it.
A few moments later.
Last one. Yeah! Looking good. Well, I guess that'll be time out for me then. Hang on. That's the vroom vroom bit.
Daddy, does that bonbon?
Yeah, I'd love a bonbon. But yes, that'll be time out for the engine rebuild. And yeah, this episode should be actually being released on Father's Day, certainly Father's Day in the UK and here in France. So bon fête to all you dads. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure your post notifications are on, because obviously in the next episode we should be throwing that cylinder head back in and turning the key. Youch. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Look after yourselves. Happy Sunday. Take care. What we got? Ooh, cola bottles, my favourite. Thanks.